You are the average of 5 closest people around you.
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
Who you hang out with is a huge deal. And again, these are all tried and true things, right? We've heard you're the whatever of the 5 friends you spent, like that's real.
And what that means is that if people are not listening to you, stop talking to them.
There are people that are toxic in your life. They don't serve any purpose. All they do is they suck out your energy, waste your time, attack your self-esteem, ruin your key, fun, joyous moments, and all they do is attack you and make you feel vulnerable and make you feel bad about yourself. You already know who these people are. They are your friends in your friend circle. They are your relatives in your family, and some you've known for a long time, and yet you don't do anything about it and deal with all that toxicity. But in this video, we're going to learn how to deal with them and how to get rid of them. And with that, let's start today's video. So when we talk about toxic people, some we are able to identify instantly that okay, this person is completely toxic, need to get rid of that person. And some we are not able to identify instantly, that we don't know that if this person is toxic or not. But the point is that doesn't change the fact that we do need to get rid of all the toxic people out of our life. Now, when we talk about toxic people, there's one clear distinction I'd like to make for you to understand. One type of person, the first type of toxic people are the individuals that are inherently toxic. That is, they are really individuals that you need to get rid of. They have everything about them that's toxic, and they're usually like that with almost everyone. It's just who they are. Get rid of those. And the other type of toxic person is something that we're all guilty of being in different times of our life, and it is that we don't necessarily have bad intentions for someone. It's just we don't want them to surpass us, right? So there are individuals in your life that you will encounter that are your friends from a long time, and they do mean well for you, but their behavior becomes extremely toxic towards you as soon as they see you surpassing them or you trying to take your life to the next level. Because see, when you work on yourself, when you truly get your shit together, when you truly orient yourself and start setting bigger goals, that's when a lot of people feel intimidated. That's when the jealousy comes in. That's when the envy comes in. And most people have unconsciously reactions towards you because of that jealousy or that envy. And that is exactly what leads your friends, that your best friends, the people that were your biggest support circle, to become toxic subliminally. Now, there are some people that do it consciously. That is, they don't want you to surpass them, and they will literally intentionally pull you down, and those are the first category wherein they're inherently toxic. Because you should never feel intimidated by someone else's growth, because that's just like, if someone else that you know was not as great and then became great, that's proof that you can do it as well, because there's no difference between that person and you as a inherent whatever, right? So I mean, you should be inspired, not feel jealousy or. So how do you deal with toxic people? Well, start by analyzing how important this person is to you. After determining if this person is toxic or not, on the scale of 1 to 10, I want you to label this person that okay, this person is this important. So if that person is 6 and below, drop that person. And if that person is 7 and above, then we need to confront them in order for them to understand that they are being toxic, and then so that they can modify their behavior. Because if they really care about you equally as much as you do, when you tell them that you are doing this and this is toxic, they will try and improve their behavior, which is exactly what we want. But let's talk about dropping people. Now, while it's easy for us to say that drop the toxic people out of your life, in real life it can be a really complicated decision to make because it has a lot of consequences. For example, what if you're in a toxic friend circle? If you drop all of your friends, that's going to result in you becoming alone and feel lonely, and that's an undesired result. And because you don't want to be alone, you don't make that decision. Now, the reason why you don't want to be alone is because of the social comparison theory by Leon Fistinger. Social comparison theory basically says that we compare ourselves and evaluate ourselves against the social peer groups that we are involved in. So when you see people in groups and you are alone, you are necessarily going to think that okay, there's something wrong with me because they are together and I'm alone, right? And you don't want that. It's because of the undesired consequences that we don't make the right decisions and the hard choices, and we need to do that. Now, the biggest reason why it's so difficult to get rid of someone that's really toxic is because we look at the time that we've invested in that person and we just don't want to be on the losing side, because you had the right intentions, you had the right motivation for that person, you were rooting for that person in their corner, and yet that feeling wasn't reciprocated. And I know that sucks, but that should not stop you from making the hard choice and making the right decision, right? You don't want to lose, and it is because of sunk cost fallacy. So what is sunk cost fallacy? Well, imagine you've gone to watch a movie and you spent $500 on a movie ticket. Now, you went to watch that movie because you thought it's going to be super awesome and super great and you will enjoy yourself. Now, 10 minutes into the movie, you realize that this movie is garbage. Now you have two choices. You can either sit and watch the entire movie, or you can go and leave the movie hall and do something better with your time and feel less shitty about it, right? What do you think you will do? Will you leave the movie hall and come home and do something, or will you watch the entire movie? Now, while it makes sense to leave the movie hall because you don't like it and you'll feel better, most people don't. They try to make whatever they can of the $500 that they spent on the movie, and they leave the hall 2 hours later feeling even shittier than they started because they didn't enjoy the movie. They just wasted $500. They also spent 2 hours wasting that $500. So that's exactly what sunk cost fallacy is, right? You need to understand that when something's sunk, like when the cost can't be recovered, don't make decisions of recovering that cost. Now, we are all susceptible to sunk cost fallacy. Say you're 20 years old and you've invested 5 years into a relationship. It can be your friends, it can be your anything, right? And you have at least 50 more years ahead of you. Now, will you ruin the 50 years for the 5 that you've invested, right? And you need to start thinking about it from this perspective. You need to think about the rest of your life instead of the time you've already spent, right? And that's how you make that decision. Don't let 99% of your life be affected because of the 1% of incidents. And now to talk about the consequences that you'll face when leaving the toxic people and how to deal with them. The first consequence is going to be that they are going to ridicule the crap out of you, right? Ridicule is something that you really have to deal with. If you're leaving a group, they will ridicule you, they'll laugh at you, they will make fun of you. If you're leaving a relationship, that person is probably going to bitch about you to 10, 20 different people that they know that, okay, like this person is doing that, whatever. If you're getting rid of a family relationship, that person is also going to tell their relatives that, okay, this happened. So get ready and be prepared to face a lot of ridicule that's completely uncalled for, unwarranted, because it's just a consequence of the decision that you're making, and you are making the right decision if that ridicule starts coming your way. So make sure that that red flag is not a red flag but a green flag, because if they're ridiculing you, that means that you were right. Now, the next thing on this list is loneliness and fear of missing out. Well, this loneliness and fear of missing out is probably even worse than ridicule, because it's one thing to face ridicule and then another thing to have the voice inside of you feeling bad for not having enough people around you, or seeing the individuals that are bad having more fun than you are. And it's a really difficult to deal with feeling, man. Like, I've been through it. It's just there aren't many things you can do when you are feeling like that, and it's only going to get fueled by social media when you see different people having funs and everything. So be prepared to understand that what you're doing is more important for you in the long run, right? So even if it does feel a little shitty in the small run and you think that you're missing out, it's fine. In the long run, you'll make up for all the things that you're missing out on. So make sure you have that long-term vision when you're doing this, because this feeling is going to hit you like a wrecking ball. Now, the third thing on this list, guys, is that you are always going to think whether or not was the decision that you made, was it right? And the thing is that there's no way for you to know if that decision was right. It's just as Steve Jobs says, you can't connect the dots looking forward, you always connect the dots looking backward, right? So in the future, you'll be able to look back and see if the decision was the right decision. But what I want you to know is you have to make sure that whatever decisions that you make, are the ones that pay off, right? You have to make sure that when you get rid of all that toxicity in your life, you really work towards all the things that you want to achieve in your life. Different people have different value systems. You need to make sure that you surround yourself with the people that have similar value systems, and that's exactly when you'll actually be able to build and cultivate that tribe that will support you. And the last thing, guys, I think you should cut off anyone that makes you question your self-worth. This is just my opinion, but you should really cut off anyone that makes you question your self-worth. Life is too short to take people's shit. Go on the aggro mode. Start cutting people off of your life aggressively. You need new people in your life. You need more people in your life. Make new friends. If you have trouble making new friends, then be so good that you just can't be ignored. And even if the worst case scenario comes in that you can't possibly hope to make new friends, the point that I want you to understand is that a lion doesn't need the pack. The eagle fly above everyone else by themselves, right? And I want you to know that you need to really focus yourself and get to that level, because trust me, when you're there, everybody is going to come to you. You have to develop your self-esteem. You have to hold yourself accountable to get yourself to a life where you truly are proud of yourself. Hold yourself accountable. Think highly of yourself and be so good that they can't ignore you. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you press that subscribe button and hit that bell icon. I really want you to document your thoughts in the comment section down below, because I believe everybody deals with toxic relationships, but I think it's a topic that's not talked enough about. And let's try and create a nurturing community in the comments that, like if someone opens up and talks about a toxic relationship, then we tell them that it's going to be fine, and we just make sure that we create that support system in the comment section down below. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm also going to open up a little and I'll talk about the toxic relationships I've had to deal with in the comment section down below. So make sure you reply to my comment, and then we can get it started with a dialogue. Another thing that I really want you to do is, it'll really mean a lot if you can share this with 5 or 10 of your friends, because this is that video that I think can really help a lot of people. And the entire idea of Rev.Ed is revolutionize education, and I really want everyone to improve themselves and really be someone that they are really proud of, because I think our generation is capable of so many things, and if we really focus all our efforts on improving ourselves and then using whatever we've improved upon to solve the problems of the world, we can really change the world. You can also follow me on Instagram. My username is @chaitanya, and I will see you on my Instagram. If you really want to get in conversation with, you can just DM me and we'll start talking. And this is Rev.Ed signing off, and we will see you in the next video. Until next time.